Hi everyone, let's make a mini zine. If you're new here, my name is Sally and I'm a mixed media artist in Australia, and if you're not new here, welcome back with a slightly different view of the studio today because I am filming my intro at night, which I don't usually do, and I've had to set up the lights and that sort of thing so you can actually see what's happening. I love reading zines, I love making zines. I've been making zines all year. I make one every month and send them out to my Ko-fi members. And while I was putting together the May issue, issue number 5, I thought I would take you through the whole process of making the mini zine that gets sent out to my members every month. So if you've ever wanted to make a zine, this is going to show you how to do it. So let's get into it. Okay, so the supplies that you need to make a mini zine are one A4 sheet of printer paper and a bone folder. Now, you don't have to use a bone folder. You can use your fingernails or a credit card, something like that, and a pair of scissors. And then just whatever you want to decorate, which could just be a ballpoint pen. You're going to fold your piece of paper in half lengthways. Now the bone folder just gives it a really nice flat sharp crease. And then what you're going to do is fold it in half the other way. Bone folders you can get at your local like office supply store or craft stores, that sort of thing. Give it another crease and then fold it in half again. So you've got this little rectangle. Giving it another crease with every fold, so you've just got a nice flat little booklet. And then when you open it up, you will have 8 even sections of paper. So 8 equal rectangles. Then we're going to fold the paper in half the opposite of the way that we did the first time, and we need to cut a slit. So make sure that the fold is facing towards you. And then you're just going to cut that first section. So just cut along the crease up until you meet the middle fold there. And then when you open it up and you sort of push it together, there's like a little tent. And then when you squeeze, and it will just naturally go into that position. Give it another little fold so it's nice and flat. And then we have our 8-page booklet. Now it's really helpful if you write down the number of the pages. So page 1 is your front cover. And then you've got page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, and then page 8 is your back cover. Now do this in pencil, I would suggest, so you can easily rub it out. So when you unfold it, so we numbered it in the order of the way that it runs when it's folded together. You'll notice that it goes back cover, front cover, page 2, page 3, and then upside down on the other side is page 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that's why it's really handy to number it, so that way when you're decorating it, it doesn't get confusing about what order and what direction everything has to go to flow properly when it's all folded back up together into a booklet. And now we're ready to decorate. If you've been watching my videos for the last couple of months, you will have seen me talking about my Ko-fi memberships and how I make a zine for my members every month. So I make an A6 size zine that I send out, and then my members also get a bonus mini zine, and that's what I'm making today. So I usually have a theme for the main zine, and then the mini ties in with that, and then there's another tier that has an art print, and that all goes together. So the 3 pieces do go together as a whole set, although they can work individually as well. So the main zine this month is a lot of illustrations with snakes and swords, and there's a skull and things like that, and it is all featuring lyrics from heavy metal songs. So the mini, what I wanted to do with this, I really like doing collage on my minis, and I had this idea that I would collage a snake. So I'd collage a snake that's like wrapping around the mini, and I have a bunch of reference books that I keep for collage, and anytime I'm just in the op shop, I just check all the reference books, and I have a flawed system here. Chaos. And I have this whole big stack of reference books that I just pick up cheap at the op shops, and that's what I use for collage. So I did have a book that was specifically snakes, but I grabbed another couple as well, just wildlife stuff. But this snake book turned out to be perfect, and I didn't need to use any of the other books at all. So all I do when I collage is I just flip through the pages, cut out whatever looks interesting to me, and then I go from there. So generally with collage, I don't really have an idea how it's going to sort of look when it's finished. I generally have a loose idea, and then I just cut out what looks interesting to me, and then sort of let those things that I've cut out sort of tell me where they want. I don't know if this sounds kooky or not, but I let those pieces that I've cut out sort of tell me where they want to land on the page. And I knew that I needed a snake head and I needed a tail, so I was looking specifically for those things. But then I was just sort of looking at the different patterns and things like that. So I did sketch it loosely on, like sort of the shape of the snake loosely on the pages before I started. But then what I did was just start cutting things out and moving them around and seeing what worked. And the great thing that I love about collage is that you can just keep playing around with the pieces of paper and shifting things around until you find the way that fits. And for me anyway, like when it gets into the right formation, like I know it. And sometimes I don't know what the end result is going to be, and sometimes I just play around with little pieces of paper and see what comes out. And yeah, it's really fun. I love doing collage. So I had 3 really good snake head references here, and so I was just like placing them on that back page there to see what would fit. And this one was perfect. It was just like the perfect size for that back page. And so the main zine is illustrations with song lyrics, and so I wanted this to be a similar thing. So this is collage and is going to have song lyrics as well. So I also wanted to make sure that I had room on the page to write around the elements of the snake. And I didn't mind if the patterns were mismatching, like that was kind of what I was going for. I initially thought that I wouldn't be using like full sections of snake, that I would be like piecing together lots of different things, like almost like a mosaic, and building the snake up that way. But I ended up finding such good references in that book that I just cut out whole sections of snake and made it sort of work that way. So I'll take this opportunity now to thank my Ko-fi members. This is for you, and your support means the world to me. I love making the zines every month. It's so fun, and I really hope that seeing the process inspires you to get creative and make a zine. Like the mini zines are so accessible, and that's the wonderful thing about zines. Like you don't have to have tons of fancy supplies or anything like that. You can literally just photocopy them at your local library for cheap, for free even, and yeah, like they're so accessible. All you need is like an idea. And self-publishing, especially in the age of social media and algorithms and suppression of political content especially, I think zines is such a great way to build community and talk about ideas and share information and share ideas in a way that's so much more authentic and not based on what a corporation wants you to see or not see. So yeah, make zines. Highly recommended. So as you can see here, I've just been sort of shifting the pieces of snake around, and it was quite frustrating actually because of the way that they move and they coil around. I was finding it difficult to find pieces that sort of matched in the direction and flowed around the paper. But I think I ended up nailing it with this design. And then Echo had to come and help because she's been super helpful in the studio lately. Loves this eraser and all the little pieces of paper. Which I had to end up snatching off her. She's got 100 toys. Seriously. So yeah, I just sort of shifted the pieces of paper around until they worked, and I absolutely love the way this turned out. Then I rubbed out all the pencil sketch from earlier, and then I just grabbed my glue tape sticky roller thing and started sticking it down. And because with your master copy, you really only need to, like, the collage doesn't have to be perfectly stuck down because you're going to be scanning it anyway to print it. So don't get too stressed about that if you're doing collage. It just needs to be held down on the paper. And yeah, I wrote the page numbers in pen earlier, and I did that so you'd be able to see it on camera, but obviously if I'm not covering it with a collage, then you're going to see it. So I did edit out some of that in photo editing after I'd scanned it in, because I didn't want that actually in the zine. So I just stuck down all the pieces of paper once they were in the correct position. I have made a collage video in the past, and I will link that up above and in the description box down below, so you can check that out and see a bit more of my collage process and where I source my materials and that sort of thing. This inevitably happens to me when I'm using my glue tape towards the end, and I'm sort of rushing and not being careful. But that's okay, because we can just stick it back together. Your zine doesn't have to be perfect. I like that when they look homemade. And I like that I'm seeing more and more people making zines, and it's so cool. So yeah, if you make a zine, let me know. Let's trade. Open for trading zines. I want to read what you make. So all the snake elements down now, and I absolutely love the design. I think it worked out so perfectly, and it flows around the pages just how I wanted it, even though I sort of didn't really know what it was going to look like before I started. It ended up being perfect. And then I just went in with a fine liner, and on the page that's going to be the front cover, I just put the title of my zine, which is Stung, and this was the kind of font that I used for the main zine. So my zine is called Stung, and it's a different theme every month, and it's a different font and logo every month, and I love that it's called one thing but it changes every month. So some of them have been quite personal in the past, and then last month I did one that was just about Garfield. So, you know, all kinds of different things. I have a lot of ideas for what I want to do in the future. I'm definitely making a zine about Showgirls. I love that movie. So this is the Stung mini zine number 5. I can't believe this is the 5th zine. So exciting. And because the main zine is all featuring lyrics from heavy metal songs, different heavy metal songs, there is a song by a metal band that I love called High on Fire, and they have a song and an album called Snakes for the Divine, and it just was the perfect song because of all the snakes and the snake in the mini zine. And so I just chose some lyrics from that song to add to the pages. And I was playing it in the background and was super inspired, and they all just fit perfectly. I was so stoked. So again, I don't really have an idea about where the lyrics are going to go until I just start inking them. I just start writing them on the page and let them fall where they fall, and hope that I don't make any spelling mistakes. Which I didn't. But you know, you can edit, you can scan it and then edit it later if you do make a mistake. It's no big deal. And then our back cover is the last lyric. And this is another reason why you want all your pages numbered in the correct direction and order, so that when you are using text, it all reads correctly. So our song is Snakes for the Divine by High on Fire. And then I just added a couple little starbursts with my ink there. And then I just felt like it needed a bit of colour, so I grabbed my trusty old Crayola crayons and just added a bit of colour around the pages as well. And I just sort of mess around with it until it kind of looks right. Like I said, usually with the minis, I have a really loose idea. Like I know how thematically it's going to match with the main zine, but I really just sort of unfold it and wing it and see what happens. Like they usually are collaged, and the minis are really, really fun to make. And then once it's all done, unfold it flat, scan it, we send that off to the computer. So this is our master copy. And once you've scanned that in and you've made any alterations, if you needed to, like I said, I just edited out any of those pen numbers that were still showing, just because I didn't want them on the printed page. And then you're going to print it. Now my members, I send them a full color zine, but you can obviously print these in black and white as well, whatever you want to do. But I like to do a color printout. So then we have our A4 printout. Now I like to just trim the edges if there's any of like the white piece of paper showing that's not printed, just so that everything that's on the page is just, I'm not explaining this very well. So there's no like white edges around it. You can see what I'm doing. You know what you know what I mean. I just think it's a little bit more aesthetic to just trim off those little edges. I don't know if anyone notices it, but it's something that I like to do. And it is time consuming when you've got to do like a whole bunch of them. And then we're back to the start. You fold it in exactly the same way. So we fold it over lengthways in half. Grab your bone folder. Give it a nice crease. And then we'll fold it in half. Give it another crease. Fold it in half again. And you can see there's my front cover. Give it another crease. So everything's all flat. And then we unfold it just like we did at the start. Fold it in half, the opposite. And with the fold facing towards you, you're going to cut into the middle along that crease, just into the center there. So you've got that slit in the center, and then you sort of squeeze the edges and it'll fold into itself into the correct order of the pages. And there's your mini zine. Front cover, page 1, page 2, no, 2, 3, front cover's 1, 4, 5, page 6, page 7, page 8 is your back cover. And that is how you make a mini zine. And these were all the minis that I had to print out and get ready to send to my members. So if you're interested in checking out the memberships that I have available, I will have all of that linked in the description box down below. And so here is the master copy that I keep. And I have a drawer full of all my master copies. And then we have little printed copy. So yeah, there's your zine. I hope you liked this video. If you did, consider subscribing to my channel. I hope to do more zine videos in the future. Like I said, I make the zine every month, and I'd like to take you through some other different ways that I've put together the minis and then the main zine as well. I also do lots of work in my sketchbook and art subscription box unboxings, that sort of thing. Like this video if you liked this video, and I hope this video inspired you and took some of the mystery maybe out of making a zine. Possibilities are really endless, and yeah, you don't need lots of fancy materials. You just need a piece of paper and an idea. So go make a zine. Let me know if you do. Highly encourage it. And I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you next time.